Welcome to Echoes of Time, a journey into the forgotten worlds and the secrets they left behind.
Okay, so when you think of the Ark of the Covenant, you're probably picturing, vast deserts in the Middle East, maybe ancient temples in Jerusalem. But what if the trail to one of history's most powerful artifacts doesn't end there? What if it leads right here to the United States? Today, we're diving into this incredible quest with forensic geologist Scott Walter, who is following a trail of clues that could literally rewrite history. And, just like Indiana Jones, Scott Walters isn't afraid to challenge what we think we know. He's out there investigating these really strange artifacts, legends, and mysteries, all pointing to this wild idea that the Ark could be hidden, not in the old world, but right here in the new. So what exactly is this thing we're looking for? Well, the Ark of the Covenant is that legendary chest, the one built to hold the 10 Commandments that God gave to Moses. The Bible describes it as an object of just immense power. But then around 597 BC, during the Babylonian invasion of Jerusalem, it just vanishes, gone from the historical record. And that kicks off a mystery that's now thousands of years old. Now, here's where it gets interesting. To find the Ark in America, our story has to start somewhere you probably wouldn't expect. We're heading to Ireland, because believe it or not, this is where the trail from the ancient world allegedly picks back up. Okay, so this timeline lays out a pretty wild legend. The story goes that after Jerusalem was sacked, the prophet Jeremiah fled with an Egyptian princess, and they brought the Ark with them all the way to Ireland. They supposedly buried it at the super sacred royal site, the Hill of Tara. But when a group dug for it back in 1899, they came up completely empty-handed. So if it wasn't there, where in the world did it go? And that question, well, that brings us across the Atlantic. The first major clue in Scott Walter's investigation is this mysterious stone sitting on a farm in Virginia. It's an artifact with an incredible story that supposedly traveled with the Ark itself. And here, the story takes a truly bizarre turn. The stone is said to be the actual biblical stone of destiny. The one Jacob used as a pillow when he dreamt of a stairway to heaven. The owner claims it was given as a wedding gift way back in 1722 by, get this, Jonathan Swift. Yeah, the author of Gulliver's Travels. The theory is that Swift, who lived right near the Hill of Tara in Ireland, somehow got his hands on the stone and sent it, and maybe even the Ark, to the safety of the American colonies. But look, a great story is one thing. The real question is it true? If this really is the stone of destiny, its geology, its makeup, has to match the rocks from Israel. That's a question only science can really answer. So Scott Walter takes a small sample from Jack's stone and he compares it under a microscope to a control sample of rock from Israel. And his first look is actually promising. The Virginia stone is a sandstone with these sharp greens and open spaces that suggest, yeah, it could have come from a desert. It definitely doesn't match any of the local rock in Virginia. This is the moment of truth. And the result? It's a dead end, a complete dead end. The mineralogy, the grain size, everything. They're completely different. As Walter himself put it, they couldn't be more different. So the stone on that Virginia farm did not come from Israel. The Jonathan Swift theory just hit a massive roadblock. But hey, an investigation like this is never a straight line. With that Virginia clue debunked, Walter turns his attention to a totally different theory and a completely different artifact found in Ohio, one that introduces a whole new group of people who might have carried the Ark. This new theory revolves around the lost tribes of Israel. See, after being conquered by the Assyrians way back in 722 BC, 10 of the original Hebrew tribes pretty much just disappear from history. The idea is that some of these people eventually made their way to America, long before Columbus. If that's true, that alone would rewrite history. And this theory suggests they could have brought the Ark with them. This brings us to the Newark Decalogue stone. Found in Ohio back in 1860, this thing is an incredible find. It was literally sealed inside a custom-carved stone box, and it's inscribed on all sides with the 10 Commandments in an ancient form of Hebrew. It even has this carving of a man identified as Moshe, or Moses, holding the tablets. To Scott Walter, the craftsmanship just looks ancient and totally authentic. Okay, let's just pause for a second and look at this comparison. On one side, you've got the Jonathan Swift theory. It's from the 1700s. The key evidence is the Virginia stone and its status, debunked by science. On the other side, you've got the lost tribes theory. This one suggests an ancient pre-Columbian journey. The evidence is that incredible Ohio stone and its status, so far, it's holding up. The evidence is definitely pointing in a new direction now. And the trail then takes another huge leap, moving from east to west.
The final clue in Walter's investigation is maybe the most visually stunning of them all. A mysterious petroglyph, an ancient rock carving, found way out in the Arizona desert.
I mean, just look at this direct comparison. The resemblance is, well, it's uncanny. On the left, the petroglyph shows a rectangular box with two figures on top whose wing-like veils meet in the middle. And on the right, you've got the biblical description of the Ark, a rectangular chest topped with two winged cherubim. It really suggests that whoever carved this must have actually seen the Ark.
Scott Walter himself was just floored by this. He says that out of all the Native American petroglyphs he's ever studied, this one is completely unique. It doesn't fit any known style, any known subject. His conclusion is direct and powerful. He thinks it is a carving of the Ark of the Covenant. So where does all of this leave us? We've followed this trail of legends, artifacts, and scientific analysis that spans continents and centuries. And while we don't have the Ark itself, the clues are painting this fascinating, unresolved picture of a history we never even knew existed.
So let's just quickly recap the journey, right? It starts with a legend in Ireland that goes cold. Then, a really promising clue in Virginia that fails the science test. That pivots the whole investigation to Ohio, where an artifact suggests an ancient Hebrew presence. And then finally, all the way to Arizona, where a rock carving gives us some seriously compelling visual evidence that someone in the American Southwest actually saw the Ark.
So, the big question, where might it be now? Well, the investigation's final speculation points to a location as vast and mysterious as the legend itself, the Grand Canyon. The theory is that if an ancient group brought the Ark this far, the canyon's huge, inaccessible cave systems would be the absolute perfect final hiding place. So the search for the Ark of the Covenant in America hasn't really reached an end. It's just kind of paused, right at the edge of the Grand Canyon. The evidence suggests a story that could totally rewrite the pre-Columbian history of the Americas. And it leaves us with this one fascinating question. If an object so powerful and so sacred is indeed hidden here, what other clues are still out there, just waiting to be found?
This was Echoes of Time. If you love powerful history stories, subscribe and continue the journey with us.